The loaded butterfly stretch is an incredible way to stretch and strengthen the adductors or the groin, the inner hip thigh area. Now start with a light pair of 10 to 25 pound dumbbells and mix between kind of a static hold, letting the weights kind of stretch you out, and some dynamic effort, actually using your groin to push up against those weights and then lowering in control. So static and dynamic, kind of mix it up. A good 2-minute set here will be phenomenal, and you can also increase the load over time to enhance the stretch and the strength gains at once. This drill takes the king of core exercises, the hanging leg raise, and applies an awesome mobility test as well. So we're gonna really emphasize opening up those hips and stretching the groin and adductors here. And you gotta keep those feet squeezed hard together to engage the pelvic floor and try to keep that open hip position as you lift up as high as you can, and try to hold it also for a count at the top of the exercise. This actually looks a lot easier than it is, so be patient with yourself if you can't get as much range of motion or you can't get many reps, but really emphasize a nice squeeze at the top and a slow lowering to get a nice good eccentric stretch on those muscles. And notice how far back my legs go at the bottom of the stretch to maximize the range of motion of the movement. Now, a couple modifications. You can go with a hollow body hang here, classic gymnastics exercise, basically making yourself a banana or hammock shape while pushing hard down against the bar to hold that position. A great way to kind of build incredible core stability and strength. You can also do kind of a gymnastics flow here, going from hollow to tucked body to engage more hip flexor and just kind of really challenge your core in that manner, and then going all the way out to the L hang as well, and kind of mixing on that 4-time, a nice good max hold. And I also am going flexed arm here because my pull-up bar isn't high enough for me to get my legs straight. So, but that's another way to kind of intensify it. The other option is the pumping L hang. So you go to tucked body and then you extend the legs out, which really emphasizes the rectus femoris middle quad muscle as well, which is another hip flexor and a knee extensor. Hit that for a max hold or 5 to 10 reps. The Oblique and QL raise, QL for quadratus lumborum, is a critical lateral core exercise that will ease lower back pain, but it's often neglected in most people's training programs. So the key on this movement, start at the arm at the side, which is easier to do, a good slow 3 to 5 second eccentric, and stretch without forcing it. Again, it's always pain-free range of motion. Then you can make that same exercise harder with your body weight by going hands behind the head, prisoner style, to lengthen the lever and increase the loading and stability demands. But again, start arm down, kind of reaching as far as you can without overstretching, and take your time with it. 5 to 10 rep range is ideal. I wouldn't try to go max reps in this. I try to go 5 to 10 and just keep slowing down the eccentric and squeezing out that top contracted position more. Now, if you don't have access to a back extension machine, you can modify with a stability ball or a big medicine ball. Now, you won't be able to get as much range of motion, and this is definitely much easier than the version off of a back extension machine, but again, find a way to make it work and then intensify this with holds and slow eccentrics. The one leg back extension is one of my favorite ways to intensify this exercise without adding load, while also strengthening imbalances between sides. You'll have one side that's tighter or weaker, so be sure to work that outside of the workout twice as often and twice as long to fix that imbalance. But the big focus here is a really good slow eccentric or lowering phase and a good glute squeeze at the top of the exercise, and make sure you're trying to drive most of the motion through the hips instead of the lower back. You can also self-assist on the bars if it's too hard, or go eccentric only, lowering in free space and using the arms to cheat back up. Another option is going just an isometric hold at the top, showing this arms overhead progression from easiest to hardest. So you've got some options in terms of how you want to challenge yourself with this. If you don't have a back extension machine, you can modify on 2 or 1 leg using this setup against a wall on a big stability ball or medicine ball. And I recommend, if you can, finding the back extension machine because you get so much more range of motion. But you can also go with a single-legged hip extension, or make that even harder by adding the rolling leg curl action. You're still working glutes, low back, and both, in this case, the high and the low hamstrings. So lots of options, just pick your poison. The single leg sit-up is not only a great way to intensify the typical feet anchored sit-up on 2 legs, but you'll strengthen imbalances between sides, and you'll really fortify the knees and grow the quads isometrically. I think you'd be shocked with what a thigh workout you get on this one, besides absolutely lighting up your abs. Make sure you're not using your hands to kind of crank on your neck. It's there just for support. A nice good slow 3 to 5 second eccentric is key to get the most out of this exercise, and I'm actually using a decline there to make it harder, but you can go flat surface too. If it's too tough on one leg, just modify with the double-legged version, and if it's something that you can do 10 plus reps in multiple sets, add a medicine ball to increase the load to stay in kind of a 5 to 10 rep range for strength, and you can even play around with some twists twists or some halos. Another option too, if you have a heavy medicine ball like I do that actually functions like a stability ball, so you can squeeze it between your legs to anchor yourself down. And my favorite option, the most challenging, a little more risk obviously if you have to really trust your setup here, is the inverted sit-up, which is again full body weight, full range of motion while decompressing the spine.